we go. Hey,
Hey.
there we go. Okay, look at this.
Yeah, my phone's being so stupid.
That's all right. It's technology. It only works when you don't need it to.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Francesca, for coming and joining us on your Sunday here today. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. No, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that you are willing to debate because from what I notice is that most people on the left, the Democrats, liberals, they almost never debate because I
Hmm.
just feel like it's just so strange. I feel like the best way to really have people be able to see, and make their decisions is like debate the ideas and see like, okay, which idea makes more sense. Because we only
Hmm.
expose one idea, but you're not, debating the other side. And I know there's a lot of politicians do that the same too, from both sides of the aisle. But I have more, I admire more the ones that do debate and are not afraid to answer, these
Well,
questions.
well, yeah, and I listened to your video and I heard your position on Prop 50, and so if you were willing, I'd be wanting to pick your brain about it. So, from
Okay.
my understanding, is you think that Prop 50 in and of itself is unconstitutional for the California state constitution. Is that am I correct in assuming that?
Well, that was one of the points. Yes, first of all, it's unconstitutional, but also, basically, oh my God, where do I start? So I feel that this prop, it's good for nothing. It resolves nothing. It's only going to hurt Californians. It's going to cost millions of dollars to Californians to be able to do this. And it says on the ballot, I even have a picture of that I took when I went to go vote, and it's very vague onto how many millions of dollars it's going to cost every county. On top of that, the fact that it's for what? To give more power to people who have already proven that they have done a terrible job administrating our state and our cities alone. And it's like giving your keys to somebody, to your keys temporarily to somebody who already crashed your car. Why would we do that?
Well, okay, but you know that Prop 50 doesn't have anything to do with state elections, right?
What do you mean state elect? It redraws the maps. It's taking
Well,
away
right, but it redraws the
maps already been
maps.
redrawn. Huh?
But it redraws the maps for congressional representation at the U.S. House. So if you're concerned of getting more power to the politicians that you claim have already destroyed the state,
Mm.
it's not helping the people that are in elected office in California. It is the people who are representing California in the U.S. House of Representatives. It doesn't have anything to do with the state elections.
Then why even it does affect, why redraw all the maps to be able to make sure? And they said it themselves basically. The one thing that they're not hiding, because they say it on every ad, they're saying this is to fight Trump, is to fight back against what, basically, fighting fire with fire, fighting back against Texas, what they did, da da da.
Right.
Why does us California have to pay whatever is going on in Texas? If Texas is doing gerrymandering, whether it's for good reasons or bad reasons, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't give that much power to politicians. Politicians, uh, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you
Mhm.
give too much power to people, they are going to fail you no matter what. And that's why
Exactly.
we
And
want to
that's
have
and
two people. We don't have two party systems always, so they can push each other back. So then not one party has all the power. We have 80% representation in California. Look what it has done.
right. We're redistricting the California state lines in order to prevent absolute power. So
And it's being
because
redistricting by
because no no wait,
politicians.
now wait a second. Now wait a second. Because Texas has redrawn its maps to artificially give Republicans potentially five extra seats in the US House of Representatives, they are
Mm.
artificially increasing their majority in the House of Representatives. And I say artificially because I agree with you. Gerrymandering is terrible. I don't like it. You don't like it. Nobody likes gerrymandering. However, if you believe that absolute power corrupts absolutely, then
Mhm.
a logical thought progression should be that you should want other states to counteract what Texas has done so that Republicans cannot artificially gain absolute power in the US House of Representatives.
So that
So
there's still more. There's
so it
still
has
more.
no. So here's what's going on. So this is only concerning the yes, you're right. It does affect possibly local elections on some effect, but that's more of in terms of where you're going to be represented. The goal of Prop 50 is to counteract at the U.S. House level. And why we should care about what Texas is doing is because what Texas is doing affects us in California. Because what Texas is doing is redrawing and adding Republican seats to the U.S. House of Representatives, the legislative body that writes laws that affects the entire country.
But
So
to be
if there's an
fair,
artificial Republican majority affecting the legislative body
okay.
that's writing laws that's affecting us, then that's a problem. Now, if they get elected, if gerrymandering be damned, although that's not the case because there's gerrymandering everywhere, I think we can agree on that. Now, if it's just through basic elections and Republicans have the majority like we do now, then so be it. That's how it has to work. But
Mhm.
because, in my opinion, this is my take on why Trump has called Governor Abbott, they've called the governor of Indiana and forced it, even though the state legislature in Indiana don't want it, because he sees the writing on the wall. Because usually, historically, the party in power at the White House loses a bunch of seats in the midterm elections in Congress, right? But either the Senate, U.S. House, or both. Barack Obama lost a bunch of Democrat seats during the midterms. Joe Biden lost a bunch of Democrat seats during the midterms to Republicans. Same can be said for George W. Bush, his dad, George H.W. So what Trump is wanting to do is to pad his lead in the U.S. House of Representatives so that if historical trends follow and Republicans take a walloping in the midterms, he's hoping that he can artificially make that impact less and maybe only lose 15 seats where he otherwise could have lost 25 seats or something like that. You see what I'm saying? He's trying to hold on to a majority artificially.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. So basically, first of all, in the House and the Congress, we're already still Republicans are underrepresented. I mean, there's less Republicans than Democrats. First of all.
Where?
Second of all, okay. So doing
Where are there less Republicans than Democrats?
there's always more Democrats. Last time I checked, there was like kind of like a little bit of like a tiny bit more Democrat representatives, and this was one of the reasons that
Hold on a second. Are you talking about the U.S. House of Representatives?
yes,
Because that's not true.
that's not
Because
true.
no, the Republicans have the majority in both the U.S. House and the Senate.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Because one Trump won the majority, the
Yeah.
majority. But so what's the numbers again? I forgot the exact numbers
For what? For the
for
for the
the
for the
representatives.
for the well, it should be different, but Mike Johnson is refusing to swear in one representative from Arizona. Um,
'Cause I've been seeing the votes lately, and it always appeared to me that there was more Democrats than
no, so the I believe there are 53 Republicans in the Senate, and I believe it's two. Um, I'll tell you what it is. I don't want to guess because the math how it should be and what it is not quite there. So the House of Representatives. Here you go. Let me just see. This is what
okay,
Bloomberg
and
is.
they want to have okay, but then now they want to have how many seats for Republicans?
So
How many more
220 to
people?
220 to 213 right now. Well, Texas, 220 Republicans, 213 Democrats right now.
Okay,
Texas is with its gerrymandering is trying to add 5 seats for Texas's representation in the U.S. House, right? So 5 seats that were Democrat, maybe purple, they're trying to
okay,
redraw them so that a majority of Republican voters live within that newly drawn district, right?
okay.
That gives them the best chance to go Republican. California is doing the same to
To
give
go
California the
Republican
best
on
chance. Go
best
ahead.
chance on what aspect? Best chance on what aspect exactly?
The best chance for the midterm election to have the newly elected U.S. House of Representative member be a Republican. So
Okay,
in the midterms, you vote for your U.S. Everybody's up for reelection in the House of Representatives
okay,
every 2 years, right?
yeah,
Senators are every 6 years. So in the midterms, we're all going to be voting on new House members, either to
mhm,
reelect our incumbents or to get new ones in there. Texas is drawing the lines so that hopefully in their mind the majority of voters in these given districts are red so that they will elect red Republican
okay. It's
candidates
gonna
to
give them a
sit in the
bit.
House.
Okay, so now let me just say something. So it's gonna give a little bit of an advantage. So one thing about this. So let's focus on the facts here. Um, Texas has the ability to do it because Texas does not have a independent commission, redistricting commission. that does that, and that's unfortunate that
Hmm.
the way to do it, they're taking advantage of that option. They should have made sure to have a redistricting commission. Californians, we did this to be for exact reasons, to be able to avoid having corruption,
Hmm.
having these this kind of like schemes corrupted. Now,
Hmm.
Newsom, who has been one of the worst governors in history, wants to utilize that that comparison to be like, oh well, they did it, now we can do it. To me, first of all, that is not right. That is inviting people to be okay with cheating in the name of like, oh, we're fighting back. First of all,
Yeah.
second of all, um, even if Texas gets their way, Trump gets his way to get a few more seats, blah blah whatever. I feel that if Trump was democratically selected by the vast majority, even a huge majority here in California, voted for Trump, I think that we need to let people have exactly what they voted for. Okay? Whether that's bad, whether that means the economy worse, whatever the hell. But when Biden was in power, he had full right to do whatever, destroyed completely all of the things that had been already worked on by Trump in his previous election. Not only that, but Trump had a really hard time on his first term getting a lot of things passed. You cannot, imagine you getting a job being the CEO of a company, but having like half of the people, if not more of the people, giving you such a hard time to do your job. Let him bring the company down. They should either bring the company down or not or make it better. But whatever is that he does, he needs to be able to take accountability for what for his policies that he's pushing. If he has
Okay.
all these Democrats, especially these radical Democrats like AOC or like that other I forgot her name, this black girl that calls herself a queer black represent, like what the hell is that? A queer, that's not even a real word. Okay, that is the kind of people that like if you're I feel like she's we're putting people who are a bit crazy in house representing the people. It's like she represents no one. Okay, she
Okay.
represents like 0.00% of population. No, we're putting people who are just as scandalous, who are like they're these social media personalities, and people just fall for these things. But this is our country. We're falling more and more and more on socialism, and it has been proven over and over, time and time again, that it works in no country. And
Okay.
California, it wants to pass more censorship. Okay, imagine this is the kind of thing. This is the kind of
Well,
thing
let's
that you
time
only
let's
see in
time out. Let's
countries.
time out
Whoa,
because
whoa, 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 one more
because
thing. This is the kind of
we're
things that
kind of
you
going
only
about
see
16
in
different exits
countries
here.
like Venezuela, Cuba, China, where you only see one side of political commentary. You only see the political commentary that praises the government that is in charge. That is called propaganda. Okay, we don't
Hmm.
want that. We want people who are going to push back and criticize our government because we're
Okay.
here to criticize their job. So I don't think it's okay that as Californians we're going to spend millions of dollars just to be able to pass something that it's going to like what to find. No,
So let me
we
ask you. Let
already
me ask you.
selected.
What's
We made our bed. We need to
what's
lay on it.
what's okay? So you're not in favor of amending the Constitution at all? Then is that what you're saying?
No. Yes.
So so you don't want to amend the Constitution at all. So you think that you shouldn't have the right to vote?
What?
Well, if you're
No.
against constitutional, if
Where did
you're
you get
against,
that
well, now
from?
wait a minute. If you're now
Where
wait
did
a
you
minute.
get that from?
If you're against constitutional amendments, there
Uh
was a
huh.
time in this country where you were not allowed to vote. You're only allowed to vote because of a constitutional amendment. You're only allowed to drink alcohol because of a constitutional amendment. So I want to know what you're trying to have your cake and
That's
eat it
a
too,
red
as they say.
herring. That's a red herring fallacy. You're
You
just
just said you weren't in
that
favor of
has
constitutional
nothing to do
amendments.
with what's going on today. I know that
Okay.
some
Okay.
amendments are important. I know that some amendments are important in the Constitution because when you see, okay, this is not working, let's fix it. But
Hmm.
most of the Constitution there's certain amendments in the Constitution that been withstanding the passing of time. And that's, for example, the right to free speech. That's something that if you
Right.
take that away from people,
Right.
it's the end. You give all the power to the people who are in power. And
I
number
agree.
two, amendment number two, people think that guns are bad. People think that guns
Yeah.
are the problem. But the truth
Yeah.
is, the guns are the only thing that are keeping us from a tyrannical government.
So
Any moment, all of us, if Trump does anything that is unconstitutional or they it threatens our democracy, we can all stand and race against the government with our guns because there's more of
yeah.
us than there is in the military. So that is
Yeah.
what's protecting us. Taking the
Okay.
guns from people is not going to fix anything. It's only going to make having the good people having no guns and all the criminals having all the guns. So these are the kind
So
of things
Prop
that you
50.
liberals always push, and these are
So Prop 50.
important.
I'm trying to talk about Proposition 50. That's what I'm trying
Okay.
to talk about.
Okay.
Let me ask you specifically, what exactly do you think you said it's cheating. How is it explain to me how it's cheating?
It's cheating because we have an independent. We decided years ago. We decided as to be able to avoid corruption, to have an independent commission, to be able to read all the maps that will be non-political. Okay, whether I'm sure that there's some involvement in political, there's always corruption everywhere, no matter
Well,
what. But
they're the
at least there is an independent commission in charge of that. The maps have been redrawn. There's no need to redraw the maps. Not only that, but it's going to cost us millions of dollars. It'll be irresponsible to spend millions of dollars when the state, the people in the administration has already done a terrible job administrating our budget. We're in debt. We're super debt. We're in a huge deficit. Corruption. Homelessness. Crime has risen. What about all those actual real problems? Real
Mhm.
people not being able to. How about they grab those millions of dollars and give it to the people who have no money who were depending on food stamps right now? How about we do that instead? Why do that? There's another thing. There's another thing that I hate about Democrats. They're
Let's
never
wait,
honest
let's wait a
about
minute.
things.
Let's stop it up and address this because if you think that Proposition 50 is cheating because we have an independent commission, do you feel the same about changing anything in the Constitution? Because literally, it cannot be unconstitutional because the Constitution gives us the right to to amend it. Have you ever read the California Constitution? Have you read Article 18, sections 1 through 4? Have you read it?
I'm actually in the process of reading the Constitution. I haven't read every little job. I'm focusing more on the important parts of the Constitution, which is something that a
Right.
lot of people don't do. Don't read the Constitution. But let me just say one
But
thing.
but hold on, I'm not done. I'm not done. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying so you've made the claim that it's unconstitutional. You've
Okay?
made the claim that it's cheating, and both of those things are by definition not true.
I
If there
think.
is a article in our Constitution with 4 sections that spells out 4 different ways on how we can amend the Constitution. One of them, Section 4, this is what it is. It says, a proposed amendment or revision shall be submitted to the electors, that's us, and if approved by a majority of votes cast, therein takes effect on the 5th day after the Secretary of State files the statement of the vote. So literally, in our Constitution, it spells out the exact way that they are amending the Constitution. Yes, it is the Independent Commission is part of our Constitution. That's why we have to put it to a vote for the majority of the people in order to change it. If we say no, it doesn't happen. That's why it can't be a power
Okay,
grab
okay, okay. Yes, yes.
if the
And
people have to vote to approve it, right? And it's
I
only
agree to
temporary. It's only temporary.
that. Okay, first of all, it's been proven through history. History has shown us that when something they say is going to be a temporary change, a temporary whatever, in politics, it's never temporary. It always finds a way
It
to be
has to
forever.
be. It would be the language of the
Okay, even if
Constitution. It
it's
has to be
temporary,
temporary.
even if it's temporary, it's like I said, it's like giving your keys to somebody who already crashed your car. Second of all, it will go through several elections before this can be like the commission takes over again. Another one,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a necessary change. Sometimes the Constitution can be vague in certain things, like for example the Amendment 14, where like they did it specifically for the children of slaves and for slaves alone. I think I feel like anybody with common sense would. Why would we be the only country that is like, oh yeah, you can come here legally, you can do whatever you want, but as long as you touch the soil, you have the rights to every benefit that our ancestors have been working for their offspring to have. So this is one of the things that sometimes things are vague and they need to be fixed for the sake of the country. And what worked at some point, it doesn't work anymore. At some point, it worked that women didn't vote. Let me tell you why. Because women are more emotional and were less likely to be involved in politics. Not only that, but most women were married. So if you bring politics into a marriage, it can be like somebody told me, oh yeah, women, you deserve this, you deserve that. Your man is not giving you this, your man is not giving you that. I come home and have a fight with my husband. So it made a lot more sense that men were the ones to choose, because they're the ones going to war anyways. There was no woman going and fighting for our country. So that's why it made sense. But then eventually things changed and now we're voting. But look at how we are now. We're putting
They
horrible
weren't,
people.
wait a minute. They weren't going to fight for our country because they weren't allowed to. It's not because they chose not to.
But what is the woman gonna do in a war, dude?
I don't
Come
understand.
on,
Well,
that's
this
a joke.
doesn't have to do anything with
There
Prop
are
50 anyway.
positions
You
in
can get in.
that
You
women
want
are not really
if you want to
putting
have a
themselves in the
discussion about
front.
immigration, if you want to have a discussion about misogyny and women's oppression, we can do that. But this is about Prop 50.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
it's just a side example. It's just a side example of how sometimes some amendments
the two
are
are not
important
related
for
whatsoever.
But you said you're trying to make this claim, right? Do you believe that the Constitution shouldn't be changed? And I said,
To which you said yes.
I said yes.
You said yes. I believe that it should not be changed.
Oh, that it should not be changed. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
technically, my answer is like it depends on what we're talking about. Sometimes there's things
Right.
that are
And you
vague,
know what
they
you know what that's
and they
called?
definitely
Do you
need
know
a
what that's
vote.
called? That's called a
What?
vote. That's called a vote.
Exactly.
We get to
So I
vote on
do
whether or
agree on
not
that.
we change the amendment or change the Constitution.
Yes, I do agree on let's vote it. But so now here comes my next answer to that. Definitely, that's part of our democracy to be able to vote. We get exposed, you expose the situation to the people. Be like, what do you guys think about this? But that's not what the Democrats do. They lie, they deceive. Okay, if they were actually really, really honest, they use a lot of emotional manipulation. If they were actually really honest, why would they not just go ahead and say, look, guys, this is what's going on. This is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. And it's going to cost us this many millions of dollars. Are you guys okay with that? Dude, like, I feel like people will still probably vote yes if you just
Yeah,
expose
they
it
will.
with honesty. With honesty, but they don't. They try to
But I'm confused.
manipulate.
I'm
How do you
confused.
think?
You said in the beginning of this debate, you said at least the one thing that they always claim in the ads is it's gonna spend millions of dollars. At least they're being honest about that. So now you're saying they're not being honest about that. And if they were honest about that, they would probably vote yes. This is going to pass
Yes.
anyway. It's probably going to pass. But you just contradicted yourself. So I
What do you
think
mean?
because
How am I
in the
how did I
beginning
contradict
in the
myself?
beginning of this debate, you said that at least the one thing the Democrats are always honest about in their ads is that it's going to cost millions of dollars. And you just said right now they're not
No,
even being honest about how much it's going to
no. I
cost.
never said that. I never said that. I never said that.
Okay.
I said that they were on. They were honest. I never said about the millions of dollars. That they were honest about the fact that they were. What was it? That they were using it
That they were going to spend millions of
tax or
dollars.
something like that. No. They never said that. You
Okay.
can you can
Okay.
are you recording this? I'm recording this. You can go
I
you
have
can
no
go back.
idea.
I never said about that. I know. I said that they're being deceitful. And I said that I even have it on my ballot how it says that it's going to cost
Yeah, on your
$1,000,000, but
ballot
they're
you said that's right.
vague.
That doesn't
They're
matter. It
vague.
doesn't matter. Regardless,
They're vague
you can
about
be
how
upset
many
about the
millions of
cost
dollars.
of the thing. That's
Yeah,
fine.
but they're not saying it on the
That's a valid
announcements.
argument. But it doesn't matter.
Okay,
At the
let
end
me
of the
put
day,
it to you like
at the end of the day,
this.
they're politicians. They're trying to get a vote from you to say yes. You can
But
you can be
that's not
mad.
okay.
But now listen.
Yeah,
You
just because
you
you're a
can't pin that on the
typical.
Democrats because that's also a Republican thing. They're politicians. They're trying to get your vote. It's
Yeah,
on
but
you to
no,
have the
no.
media
That's
literacy
the
to
thing.
understand
Because
how to
one person
research
does
and
it, then
find
the
out what
other
you do
person
or
wants to
don't
do
like
it
about a
too.
proposition.
When two wrongs don't make a right. When one person does it, the other person want to do it, and we should call both of them out. Like, hey, you're not being honest. You're being dishonest.
The only reason, yeah,
First of all, okay,
100%.
let me put it to you like
If
this:
you're not being
Have you
honest,
ever
100%.
have you ever been invited to be part of an MLM that you didn't know was an MLM, but they're saying like, hey, you want to have this business opportunity, you're gonna make this much money, blah blah blah.
Not
Have you ever
personally,
been
but I know what
invited?
you're talking about. I know it
Okay,
not personally, but I know
so
what you're talking about.
yeah, that's basically what they're doing. They are inviting people to be, oh, this business opportunity, you're gonna make this much money. Just give me, just an initiation fee. You just have to invite this many people, sign right here, whatever the hell, right? But imagine somebody just sign right here, just but what? No, we'll explain everything later. We'll explain. You just trust us. And they make you sign up. They make you sign up, and then you find out there was a lot of things that they omitted. That is not. And then at the end, when you realize it was a whole fraud, I didn't put a gun into your head. I didn't push you. I invited you. So that's what they're doing. That's not democracy. We need to get people that are like that out of office, because if they're not going to be honest with us about what we really want to vote for, like exactly are we voting for?
Has
That's
anyone
what they
has
should
anyone
do.
has any of the politicians or have any of the ads, has anything that you have read, anything regarding Prop 50, has any of it said that it's not going to cost us any money?
None of them said that was going to cost any money whatsoever. None of them. I get those ads every freaking day,
So
like 5 times a day on YouTube. None of them have said it's going to cost money. They said it's to fight democracy, to defend democracy. But you
right,
cannot defend
right.
democracy
But have they
saying,
told you it's not going to cost the taxpayers any dollars? Have they told you it's going
and
to
they
be
have
free?
not. That's the thing. There's two ways of lying. You either omit the truth or you change the truth. So they
Yes, but
omit the truth
part of
a
the
lot.
onus, but you have a responsibility as a voter to be well informed. If obviously it's going to cost money, so by you being mad that they're not telling you exactly how much it's going to cost, for one, they're not sure. For two, I don't know if you saw
But that is
the
important
video that
because it's
Gavin
our
Newsom.
money.
I understand that, but I don't
Imagine
know
if
if
your
you.
child came to you and be like, "Daddy, can I go to my friend's party?" And you're like, "Sure." And
Yeah,
he goes, grabs your
yeah.
credit card off your pocket and spends like $2,000 because that was part of the, I don't know, party gift or whatever the hell. You'll be like, "Hey,
So
you
I'm
didn't tell
looking.
me."
I'm
You're like,
looking.
"Well, you didn't ask, Daddy. You didn't ask if it was going to cost me money."
I'm looking at Prop 50's language right here, and it said this is what it said on everyone's ballot. The fiscal impact: one-time costs to counties of up to a few $1 million statewide to update election materials to reflect new congressional maps. So a few $1 million statewide. There, that's on the ballot that was mailed to your house. They're not trying to hide it. They're not trying to be disingenuous about it. If you want an actual solid number as a voter, that's something you have to
Yes,
do.
there
But
should
they
be a
have to
solid
tell you
number.
they have to tell you that, well, they don't know what it's going to cost because they don't know
But there
how
needs
many
to
people
be
are
a
going to be.
range, and there needs to be
They
a
do. They
range.
give you a
Like
few $1 million
they
statewide.
already overspend on our money, and most people are struggling. The middle class,
That's
the
an
people
opinion.
that pay the
That is an
most
opinion.
taxes.
That's not a fiscal fact. That is your opinion that they are mismanaging funds and that they're overspending the money. I, as a California resident, do not think that they are mismanaging funds, and I'm happy to pay my taxes to go to the things that they're currently going to because I think the state's
Have you
doing a good
seen?
job.
Have you seen all the millions
But
of
that
dollars that they have been secretly sending to these nonprofit organizations like in other
yes,
countries?
yes, I have
What are
because
your thoughts on
I
that?
made a
I would
video
really like to
debunking that.
know.
That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
What do you mean it doesn't exist?
That you're believing things that aren't true. But that doesn't matter. Whatever the
They said it. They
fiscal,
literally said it in the House of Representatives. They said all the reason why the government
the
is shut
U.S.
down
House
right
of
now is
Representatives,
because they wanted to. Huh?
the U.S. House of
What?
Representatives. I'm not talking about the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm talking about California. I don't care what the federal budget's
Well,
doing. I'm
yeah,
talking
but
about California.
it's a similar thing. It's a similar thing. The same representatives are the ones sending all this money. That they discover some, because I don't have
Oh
like
yeah,
at the top of my head
because
like
they want
the
circumcisions in
sources,
other
but they
countries. You want to
discover.
pay for pottery classes. You want to pay for all the things that are happening in other countries.
Huh?
Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about circumcising kids in other countries. You're talking about
Yes,
theater for
yes.
LGBT. Yeah. Most of that's not true or
Just the mayor
misreported.
alone. I don't remember
And B, that
exactly
has nothing to do with California and Prop 50. We are not sending money over there.
The mayor from LA alone has been sending money to Africa. They have been
Great. Let her
sending
send.
money.
Is she writing a
There
check? I
was
don't care about
so
that.
many. Okay, there was like a whole documentary that I saw, and there was like a few
On Prop
sources that I
50?
saw were like just with Newsom alone, him having like, for example, where's the money from the fires? What did Newsom do to it? A
Would
lot
you
of
like
that
to know?
money
Because there's a
went to
website.
some
It
of the
shows you.
organizations that he owns.
No. I made a
Yes.
video. Stop listening to
What?
Spencer Pratt. He's
Horrible.
bad for you. He's bad for your brain. Don't listen to Spencer Pratt.
I
He doesn't know
know.
what he's
I
talking about.
listen to a many different political commentators. So many different.
Regardless, I have a video debunking where all the money went. There's a website you can track where every dollar went. You are, for some reason,
Where's your
and MAGA
video?
expects it's on my
No,
TikTok.
it's
I don't know
not.
where it
I
is.
listen
It's
to people. I'm in the middle. I listen to people from the right,
right,
from the left.
but I'm saying the fire money doesn't matter. This is about Prop 50.
Oh, it
we have
doesn't
to stay
matter.
on.
It doesn't matter. But let's keep
Not
trusting
right
the
now.
people who mismanage our money.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you have a problem with the fiscal impact of this proposition, that's a fair argument. But you're going around and saying that it's unconstitutional, it's cheating, and it doesn't matter what Texas does, not understanding the correlation between what Texas does affects the U.S. House of Representatives, therefore affects us residents of California.
Okay,
You
Joe.
see,
Let me ask you.
you understand how that impacts us, right?
Joe, let me ask you something.
Do you
Why? Because
understand how what Texas does at the U.S. House of Representatives impacts us in California? Do you understand that?
to an extent, but I feel like at the end
Because
of
they
the
write
day,
the
when
laws that govern the entire country, not just Texas.
it's one state. How much worse can it
No, it's
get?
not. It's the whole country. Texas representatives are responsible for writing federal law that affects the entire country. So if there is an
And the
artificial
other states are
influx.
not.
Yes, of course they are. That's what we're saying. Right now, if everything stays status quo, Republicans are set to artificially cheat to get 19 extra seats in the U.S. House of Representatives in the midterms because of their drawing in the districts that look all sort of crazy ass ways. That's why California is saying that's cheating. That's not fair. So we're
No,
going
they
to
should have
amend our
had
constitution.
they should have had a redistricting commission themselves. So now let me ask you
That,
something, Joe.
that's what this
Okay,
proposition does.
let's
It's going to help
say
raise
let's
money
say
to
you're
do that
right.
for across the country too. We don't have to
Let's
say it.
say that the Republicans and they start cheating and they're going to take more chairs. This is going to affect overall the policies that are going to pass. So now let me tell you, why is that a bad thing, Joe? Like, why do you, if you live in California, where it's one of it could be one of the richest
Why
countries
is
alone.
Texas?
Like
Why is
we
Texas
make
getting
so
more
much
seats a
money.
bad thing? I want to make sure I understand what you're asking. Are you asking why is Texas getting more seats a bad thing?
No, no, no. Oh, yeah. Why? Yes. Exactly. Why do you
In this
why do you think it's a
in
bad
this
thing
fashion,
for the country alone?
in this fashion, because it's cheating. If
Okay.
like I said in the beginning, if the midterms happen, districts have not been redrawn, and the citizens of Texas elect 5 new Republican representatives, that's democracy.
Okay.
In order for the state legislature to redraw the maps in order to influence the midterm elections to better their chance of getting Republican representatives, that is the exact opposite of democracy. That's why it's a problem. And that's why, because it's happening on the federal level, it affects me in California. And that's why I voted yes for Prop 50.
Okay. It's cheating, and in
Yeah.
order to fight cheating, you want us Californians to cheat too.
I don't. You've yet to prove how this is cheating. We're putting it
Well,
to a
but
vote.
gerrymandering is cheating.
Right. But the whole stipulation of our California's redistricting was it was never going to be put to the vote if Texas didn't do it. If Texas said, okay, fine, we won't do it, California wasn't going to do it. Then they did it. We're like, well, okay,
Okay.
because California
Don't you
has to
feel?
protect its interest.
Because to protect his interests, even when like California is ruled by Democrats, do you really like the way
It
we
doesn't
are
matter.
now?
It doesn't
It
matter
does
about
matter.
state
It does
elections.
matter.
It does not
How is
matter.
it going to affect us?
Gerrymandering listen,
If
listen,
anything, we need a change. If anything,
listen.
we need changes in the state. Things are
If
not
anything,
okay.
I
Homelessness,
think
crime, everything has
I think
skyrocketed.
Schoolhouse Rock needs to come back on the air if anything happens.
Have you
But
ever walked through
redistricting,
LA? Have you ever walked outside? Do you ever leave your home, Joe? Like it looks
yes,
like we're not
I have
living in the
been
same state.
I have been to those 2.5 blocks in South Central LA, and they're gross. Now,
No, it's not just those. No, no, no. It's not just those. It's Hollywood. It's Santa Monica. It's all those
it is
places.
not. No,
So
it's not.
disgusting. Huh?
No, it's not.
Yes,
But
it
it's fine.
is.
Again,
Oh,
these are
okay, okay.
opinions. What you find disgusting, what I find disgusting are two very different
Well,
things.
yeah, that's a
The
problem. You
problem
have low
is you're
standards for
thinking.
living.
No, no,
You
wait a
have
minute.
low
The
standards.
prop. Fine, I can live in a cardboard box. That doesn't matter right now. The thing is, you think that redistricting is affecting Democratic politicians elected in California in order to serve California locally. That has nothing to do with Prop 50. It does not affect the governor's race. And if it did, Gavin Newsom is done because he's term limited. He's done next year. He's not going to benefit from these gerrymandering districts. It does not affect the statewide elections
Yeah, but
for
he's only
state
worried.
representatives. It does not affect state representatives. It does not affect the legislature. It does not affect statewide elections because these are for congressional district lines. This has nothing to do with California politics. It has everything to do with federal U.S. House of Representatives
But it
politics.
always gonna come back and bite us, first of all, and second of all, I just don't trust these people. They're already been doing a terrible job administrating our budget. California
That's fine.
has done it a lot worse. Anybody can see that. Anybody can feel that. The fact
That's
that they
fine.
increase taxes on gas and everything. First of all, and
That's
second of
fine.
all, it
That's
seems
fine.
like Gavin Newsom is just more concerned, more worried about being able to make sure that he wins. He wins for president in 2028 than anything
Well,
else.
he's going to.
Yeah, people will show that people
Here
are
we go.
really retarded if they
Let's
vote
see.
for him.
Let's see. November 2nd, 12:48 p.m. I'm calling it right now. I think he's going to win, but that doesn't matter. What you feel about whether or not California taxes are too high, what you feel, all of that is irrelevant when it comes to Prop 50 and your videos that are saying that it's unconstitutional cheating and shouldn't be allowed because everything points to the contrary on just a straight
Yes, we
definition of
have it in our
terms.
constitution. Why just all of a sudden a quick like rush, like vote now, come on, democracy, da da da. Like it
If
just
people don't
feels
like it, they
it's
vote no.
unfair.
It's that simple. That's called democracy. If people don't like it, if people feel that it's rushed, if people don't want to do it, you vote no. And that's why you put it to a vote
Yeah, but most people are
rather
sheep.
than 50
Most
people in
people,
the Texas
like
state
this guy
legislature.
saying, like this guy saying, I feel great living in California. Like, yeah, because you're ghetto and low class and
Oh,
trashy.
well,
Like
that's
anybody,
okay.
nobody
Well,
with
then I think
two
we're going to be
common
done then.
brain
I
cells
think we're going to
would
be
feel
done. And
proud
I
of living in
appreciate you coming up
California.
here and
California looks like shit.
having the
Anybody.
time to donate to me on a Sunday. But I don't know if he's here in support of you or here in support of me. But we're not going to be name calling. So I appreciate your time,
Most of
Francesca.
your followers are
And
obviously leftists. Like obviously,
I have no idea. I don't know
I'm
who
in
you're
the
talking to,
minority
but
here.
I'm going to say
But
good night. I have to go have lunch. So you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And I
thank you so
thank you
much,
for
Joe, for
donating your time.
thank you so much, Joe, for
You're welcome. Yikes. What? No, no. We're not going to be calling anybody ghetto and trash. So I told people in the comments section that if you were going to cross a line, you'd be booted. I didn't think she was going to cross a line in the comment section. So sorry about that, whoever she was referring to. That's gross. But anyway, how about that? Oh boy. You guys are the best. I so appreciate. Thank you very much. I see the applause emojis. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. People saying I did good. Um, I tried. I'm a firm believer. If we're just informed, if we just try to have the conversations, just try to poke the holes, get them to see why what they believe is not. I don't care if she thinks that California is not a well-run state. I don't care about any of that. I care that she thinks Prop 50 has anything to do with that. You know what I mean? If she has a problem with the fiscal impact of it, that's a valid argument. I was trying to get her to understand that, but she didn't want to hear it. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, what was that? I don't know. That was I thought she was going to be. I think she started off a little bit more open to having a good faith debate, but then she just got on the freeway and was going off every single ledge that she could take. We ended up about you know women not fighting in World War II because they were better off being wives to their husbands and they shouldn't have the right to vote. So, but anyway, yeah, that's another thing. If you don't like it here in California, you can move out. I mean, not everybody has the means. I understand that. That costs a lot of money to move out, but yeah. So thank you all. Let me see. Let me just. There's a lot of you. I've never had 630 people in my life before. So thank you all for showing up. This is like awesome. That was fun. Um, she was busy thinking what she had to say. Yeah, and I get it. It's hard to have a live back and forth debate about something, but this was something that based on her videos she seemed very passionate about, very like opinionated. I would assume that she would have had like at least a moderately formed argument to support her thing, to support her stance, but I guess not. I mean, I literally brought up just the section 4 of Article 18 of the Constitution and the language of the Prop 50, and it's like, well, here I disprove what you claimed. But yeah, she was all over the place. Very patient with her, and I appreciate you guys saying that I'm patient, that I'm too kind and stuff, but I don't think attacking and belittling is the way to do that because people tend to put up walls when that happens, and so I think it's so much better. Um, to let them talk and sometimes they kind of talk themselves in a circle and they realize that no, that this isn't making sense, and then I just kind of poke a hole and say, well, that didn't make sense, right? So I appreciate you guys. You did good. Live debates are overwhelming, so I get it. Yeah, it's hard. Pop. Thank you for that. um yeah, I'm just so stoked so many of you showed up and liked. I bet 40,000 likes. You guys are the best. I hope it wasn't painful for you guys. I hope it was maybe beneficial for some. I'm sure most people here are my fans. I think I have more followers than she does. Um, but I hope that it was informative for you. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if someone has an opinion that Francesca had, that maybe I've given you some sort of, for lack of a better term, ammunition to maybe counteract that point. So I don't know. It is kind of scary. Yeah, that kind of shows what can happen if you only get. I know she said that she gets information from many different sources, but nothing she said would lead me to believe that that was true. She also says that she's in the middle of reading the California State Constitution. Ooh. um, and again, I don't personally believe that, but yeah, yeah, and it was going all over the place. It was the meandering that was. I was just like, "Are you going to bring it around?" Because sometimes I do that. Thank you very much. Sometimes I do that. I meander and hope in hopes to bring it back around to make the point, but I don't always do it. So I was letting her do that to see if she was going to bring it around to make the point, but uh, she never did. But I wasn't lying when I said that I need to go and the weave. How dare you, Jason? Thank you for that. Appreciate you guys. Um, Yeah, I wasn't lying when I said I was hungry. It is lunchtime. So again, thank you guys very much for being here. If you have been following along my videos, you might know that I'm part of the Creator Coalition. 40 of us have teamed up to raise money for Feeding America with this whole SNAP benefits thing fiasco going on. Thank you very much for that, Heart M Sharp. So if you'd like to make a monetary donation, like I and literally thousands of other people have. The link is in my bio. Go ahead. Feedingamerica.org also has a live interactive map to find local food banks near you. If you would rather donate some time, donate some food directly to a food bank next to you, or if you want to just share and comment and like on the videos that we've made to help spread the reach of those videos, so see if other people want to donate, and you can help for free as well. So I appreciate you guys very much for being here. I appreciate those of you who have donated. We have raised, I saw in the debate, we have come in at over $150,000. Not me, but the coalition as a whole has raised over $150,000 for feedingamerica.org. And it's been like, I don't even think it's been 4 days yet. You guys are the best people in the world. So thank you all for being here. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. All right. We'll see you soon. Much love to you guys. Oh, yes. Vote yes on 50. Elections in 2 days. Go vote.